Okay, so something I wanted to talk about today was the energy of comparison. So we do this every day in our lives. It's so easy to fall into the trap of comparing yourself to other people. Social media is so bad for this. We see everybody's highlight reel. We see them getting married. We see them having babies. We see their accomplishments. Um, Everybody is presenting themselves through these fake filters. Um, and these curated versions of what they want you to think that their life is. And we tend to fall into this trap where we are constantly thinking about like, I'm not where I want to be, or I don't have what they have, and how come that hasn't happened for me yet? And it's really such a dangerous game because our time will come, and there's a reason and a season for everything that you're going through in your lifetime, and whatever is meant for you will find its way. And so it can be really harmful for you to sit there and compare and think about what you don't have, because that's just going to continue to reaffirm more lack in your life. And the more that you're looking around noticing what you don't have, the more your mind is actually going to continue to look for other reasons to affirm that and confirm what you believe is true. um and then before you know it, you've gone down this spiral, weeks or months, sometimes even years long, uh, of kind of feeling like a victim, or like things aren't happening for you, right? And we have to be very discerning about who we're following on social media and uh, what exactly we're following. And really ask yourself at the end of the day, like, is this person that I'm following, are they adding and contributing to my life, or are they taking away from it? In a way that they take away from it is that if you're leaving, you're scrolling through your social media, or you're getting off of your phone, and you're realizing that you feel a lot shittier after than when you got on it, or you're feeling like you have this love-hate relationship with this person, and um maybe every time you're seeing what they're saying, you're rolling your eyes, right? Um, Maybe you're not presenting good energy to them. And just remember, like, what you put out, you always get back, right? So if this is the energy that you're putting out, just remember that you wouldn't want that in return. And so the best thing that you can do is to unfollow them. And that's what you would want someone else to do to you. Like, you wouldn't want somebody scrolling through your stuff every day and rolling their eyes at you, or having these judgments in their mind about you. At the end of the day, you really want people who see you for you and who appreciate and value you, um, to be consuming your content. And so, uh, it's only fair that you do the same in return for other people. And so, if you have any frenemies that you're following, get rid of them. If there's people that don't align with your values, people that you don't respect, people that make you feel like shit about yourself, um, best thing you can do is unfollow them and save yourself from consuming that every single day, right? We're very careful. Most of us are careful about what we're eating, right? And we don't eat pizza for every meal. And so it's the same thing. You have to be very conscious of what you're bringing in and ingesting into your ears and your eyes, not just what you're putting into your body, right? So, what are you listening to? What are you watching? How is it affecting your mood? How is it affecting your body? And if it's not affecting you in a positive way, and it's causing these emotional reactions or physical reactions within your body, then it's something that you really need to evaluate. But we live in this world of mass consumption and overconsumption, and you don't have to follow everyone and everything. Um, you're really in control of those things yourself, and it's really important that you're spending your time wisely, because we only have so much time in a day, so much energy in every single day to spend. So how are you spending it? Are you spending it in a way that is helping you to learn or to grow, that is uplifting you, or, making you feel good? Like there's those people that you see, that you love, that are your friends, and you're like, oh yeah, wow, I'm so happy for that person. Or, um, you just love seeing what they're up to, right? And that's what you want to surround yourself with, the people that um, you feel are in alignment with your values, and who are, maybe walking the same path as you, or a similar path, or that you have something to learn from. um, People that bring a smile to your day, right? Like it's so simple. Like there's people I follow with kids, and sometimes they'll be like, sorry, I'm spamming everybody with my kid videos or whatever. And for me, like, I love that. Like sometimes it's those people's kids that totally make my day, and like I just love seeing it, right? um or it can be like an animal, or like a lot of people always say about my dogs, how much they love watching my stories about my dogs. And I mean, I do too, but I'm biased, right? They're my dogs. So and then other people aren't gonna like that. They're gonna be like, cool, Mel, I don't care about your dogs, right? So we're all very different. We all have different things that make us laugh, different things that make us smile. And, we all have different needs. And so that's okay. But the thing is to stop comparing your life to other people's, because you just don't know that the struggle that, like, we often don't know the struggle people have gone through to get what they get, right? And I know personally for myself, when I used to own my wellness center, people would always say to me, oh my God, you live my dream life. Your life is so perfect. And where you live is so perfect. And I've had conversations in my stories where I've had to say, you guys, it's not. And don't forget that we're just putting our highlights of our day on social media. We're not advertising the nights that we cry ourselves to sleep, right? And we're not advertising the struggles. We're not advertising the things that go wrong. We're not advertising the darkest parts of ourselves. And so I would say to people, like, yeah, my life looks like a dream life, but don't forget that I had to sacrifice a lot to get there. I made a lot of mistakes. I went through a lot of pain. I went through a lot of drama. I went through a lot of blood and sweat and tears. I screwed up a lot. I made so many mistakes. I had to give up my entire life basically for this business that I had, and it consumed all of me. And um, I had to do a lot of inner work and outer work in order to arrive where I did. And it didn't happen overnight. Like, it was one of the biggest learning lessons and struggles I went through. And although it was a beautiful experience in many ways, and although it transformed me as a person completely, if you ever want to transform very rapidly, just open a business. I promise it will do that for you. It took me through the washing machine, right? And so I would say to people, like, you don't see what I'm struggling with. Like, you don't struggle when you don't see that I struggle to pay the bills sometimes, or that I um have to make really hard decisions that I don't want to make, and I have to be the bad guy a lot of the times. And you don't see how tired I am and how stressed out I am. Like, you're only seeing the highlight reel. You're only seeing the great things and the great connections that I have and the great experiences. But the thing is most of the time, I think I was having probably more of a struggle than having benefit from it. And, on the other side of closing my studio after COVID, I can see why it was very valuable for me to actually let it go, and that it was an incredible burden on my life. And I would do it all again, but I'm glad it's over because I have my own life back. And so don't believe everything that you see. Don't make up your mind about other people's lives just by watching the little bits and snippets that they're putting out for you. Unless you're directly in someone's life and you have direct access to them and they share all the parts of themselves with you, which people rarely do, right? Then you really don't know. We make up so many assumptions about people and that they're perfect or their life is perfect or that they have it all together. And like, none of us have it all together. None of us really know what we're doing in this life. Life is all about learning. And every single day, we're all just doing the best that we can. And we're all getting through it. We're all up against something and we're all struggling with something in some way. There is no single person that I have come into contact with that is not struggling emotionally or physically or, struggling financially. Like, there's always something going on in people's lives and you just don't know. And I really learned this lesson when I owned the studio, because I would see like hundreds of people a day, right? And I remember people would come in and there would just be this quiet moment where it was just me and someone else in the lobby after class, and somehow a conversation would come up and they would say, yeah, my husband, he's had cancer for like a year, and like, it's terminal. There's nothing that we can do. And I'm like, what? Like, this woman shows up every single day and she puts her yoga mat in the exact same spot every single day and has a smile on her face when she walks in, and she's kind to everyone. And it seems like her life is great. She's retired, she's got money, she drives a nice vehicle, she always looks put together. And what you don't see is like how terrified she is that when her husband dies, she's going to be living alone, and she's going to miss the person that she's just spent the last 50 years of her life with. And that she doesn't know when it's going to end, and that every day she lives in anticipation of like if something's going to go wrong, or that she's going to lose the person she loves, right? So it was stories like this every single day that really showed me that we're all experiencing something, and there's really no way to compare your life to someone else's, because we all have our season, right? Like, you can sit there all you want and be thinking about something like, oh, like I wish I had a family or a husband with kids, right? And maybe the universe or God or whatever it is that you believe in, a higher power, is going to bring you those things, but it's not your time yet. And that there is things you must experience, right? Time is things I must experience before you get what you want. And sometimes you're not ready for the things that you think you want. And sometimes God's plan for you is to bring you through other learning lessons or trials or pathways before you get what you want, right? And like, you can't control that, and it's up to something beyond you, and you have to just trust that what you want will arrive in divine timing and in due timing. um it's pretty easy to think that we can control everything and that we should just have what we want when we want it. But if you look at it from the angle of like, God sees all angles in my life, and God sees everything that God sees who I am, what I need. God knows my blueprint of why I'm here and what I'm here to learn and achieve. So I just trust that, when something's right for me, it will happen. Because sure, you could probably have a baby with anyone or a family with anyone. We're using this as an example. But what if, because you're trying to control and force something to happen on your timing, you end up with somebody who's completely wrong for you? Like, maybe you don't know yourself enough yet, but God knows that in a few years, you will, and in a few years you'll be more financially stable, and you're gonna have a deeper relationship with yourself, and you're gonna have more support in your life and a better community, and you're just gonna be in a better position in your life to have kids in the first place. You know what I mean? So God has his hand in everything. And I mean, I don't think of God as this person who's standing there pointing his finger. I think of God as like Christ consciousness, as universal consciousness, the energy that makes up what we are. It's all that ever was and all that ever will be. And so you have to trust that the very thing that created you, the thing that was so intelligent and capable enough to create a miracle of you, that you were born out of, millions of different possibilities of not being born, or other people being born instead of you. Like, trust that the person who created you will also be able to bring you everything that you want and need. Sometimes you don't know what you need. Sometimes you think you want something, but there's something better waiting for you. Or Sometimes you think that you want something, but it's actually harmful for you and is preventing you from getting to where you need to be on your path. And sometimes it's like you're not getting what you want because there's other lessons for you to learn. Maybe you need to learn patience. Maybe you need to learn surrender. Maybe you need to learn to not control everything. Maybe you need to learn forgiveness first, right? Maybe you need to mature. So we just don't know. All we can do is live presently and live day to day, enjoying what's in front of us, being grateful for the things that we do have, stop focusing on the things that we don't have, and just be present with what is. Be present with where you are at in your life. Like, life isn't a destination that I will be happy when I arrive to this, when I'm happy, when I'm married, when I have kids, when I have a career, when my debts are paid off, whatever. Like, you might be dead by the time all those things happen, right? Or they might not ever happen for you. So why don't you just choose to live your life and enjoy it along the way? And just figure out what makes you happy before you even have those things. Like, you can't put conditional happiness or peace or fulfillment on things externally outside of yourself. You can't just think, I will be happy when I have this, or my life will be complete when I have this. That's not what God wants for you. And I think it all has to do with your inner work and about cultivating that within yourself instead of trying to get it from external sources, because there is no accomplishment or person or material thing or environment that is going to create the happiness, the peace, the joy, the fulfillment, the contentment. There's nothing that's going to fill the holes. There's nothing that's going to fill the void. That is completely on you. That's your job. So, just remember that we're all here on our journey for whatever reason. And when you're meant to know something, you will. And when things are meant for you, they will find a way. And the things that are meant to stay in your life will always stay. And the thing is that, like, whatever leaves wasn't meant for you in the first place. It wasn't meant to stick. There's something better for you out there. So don't try to control things in your life. Don't try to rush to the end. Just be there with it along the way. And find contentment with no matter what your situation is. Learn to be happy and grateful no matter what is going on in your life, and you will live the most peaceful life, because you're not putting your internal feelings and giving power away to what's happening in your external world. Because if you do that, you're always going to be unhappy, because shit is always going to happen outside of you. Things are always going to go wrong, right? Like, life is a balance. Life isn't shit with a little bit of good. Life is good with a sprinkle of shit. And how we learn how to take these bad things that happen to us is going to determine our happiness factor in our life. If you're going to let every little thing derail you and put you into victim mode, or throw off all of your emotions, or throw off your day and ruin your life, then you're letting way too much have control outside of you, and you're going to be miserable, right? So anyway, that's all for today, but we'll see you in the next video.